Do you know a strange thing about Let's Playing for all these years? Starting a video used to be incredibly easy. I'd just press the record button and go, intro, and then I'd be in. But now that I think a lot harder about my intros and put a lot more work into the editing and everything else, it can be quite a bit trickier to get a video going. The start is always the hardest part. Once I'm in a video, in the sense that I've got it going, it's so much easier to keep it going. But this is me rambling. Tiny bit of pulling back the curtain so that you can see what goes on in the background. You're not interested in that. You want to see me go do stuff in Defiance Bay. And not all the little bits that I have to edit out when I blurble my words and all sorts of other stuff. Also, is blurble a word? It is now. Hey folks, it's Kikoskia here, and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity, and when last we left off, we got a number of quests from the Crucible Knights. Someone in the trading room gave us access to Heritage Hall, a place that is full of undead, and we have Commander Cliver, who gave us a quest to go help Dunstan, the blacksmith that works for the Crucible Knights, retrieve schematics for a construct knight of sorts that would help them patrol the streets. Before we leave, there's one more place I'd like to go and check out. Are you someone important? You're just a Judicia. Let's have a look at this. It is a book. Is there a character in here that I can speak to? We got 150 experience points for finding here. Now, is there a secret thing? There is not, but there is this. This is a symbol of Abaddon, a colossal smithing hammer imposed over a circular gear. It's smooth and bright with buffing oils. And here we have nothing. Does surprise me. Yes. With that, I think it's time to leave. Now, to go and start the quest for the Construct Knights, we'd have to go back to Copper Lane. To go and do the quest we got here, we'd have to go to Heritage Hill. But I get the feeling that Heritage Hill is going to be very important for the main quest line. That leaves us going to Brackenbury, so that we can go to the Sanitarium and also go and warn people about that theft. But before that, Idier wants to talk to us.
Strange place for a shrine to Abaddon, Crucible Keep. Maybe it made more sense at some point before it gathered all that dust. The only thing the Knights of the Crucible worship these days is the nobility, as far as I understand it.
I knew some soldiers who got recruited by the Knights after the war was over. They told me some about it. They get these young kids in there and they tell them about blacksmithing and about the revolution, about tradition. Talk about the golem like he created the Crucible Knights in his forge to go win Deerwood's independence. Then they join, and it turns out all those knights ever talk about is when they're going to get recognized as real knighthood. When are we getting our titles and our land? Their High Justice wants to be an earl. Says it's Abaddon's will. He's got a castle and an army. You wonder how long he'll wait before he starts a war over it, saying Abaddon told him to. You don't seem all bad. They're keeping the peace in Defiance Bay. There is a kernel of something good in there, I think. Some good people want to do the right by each other. Trouble is, they're headed away from it. Yeah, yes. Idier has reason to be concerned, what with the whole living god and the god hammer bomb and all the stuff that he was involved in. But certainly influence how you see things. Right. That is the way to Brackenbury. That is the way to Ondra's Gift. You know, what I'm going to do...
Absolutely.
...is I'm going to go out here and click this so that we have access to Brackenbury. Then I'm going to cancel out and go over to the way to Ondra's Gift so that I have access to there as well. The only place I won't be able to get to via fast travel...
This was once hallowed ground for Woodika's faithful. I wonder how long it's been abandoned.
I wonder indeed. Who said that? That's an interesting question. Which character said that? Was that Aloth? Either way, we can now go to Ondra's Gift, but we're going to Brackenbury first. There's a sanitarium we have to visit, and there's that note. So, we have here the sanitarium, Hadred House, that place we're not going to go to anytime soon, Raymond Manor, the Charred Barrel, we were told to go there, and that leads to Copper Lane. Could have gone straight here from Copper Lane. And here we have an animancer, and here is Nedim. Let's say hello to you.
Yes?
Quite the chatter. The woman absorbed in a book, muttering softly as she
I'm
reads.
here.
Well, let's have a chat.
Hail and well met.
A woman stands in the shade of the garden, muttering to herself. She's fixated on the pages of a large and well-worn tome, seemingly oblivious to the blooming flowers and the cool, fragrant breeze. She only looks up when your shadow crosses her page. Do you mind? I'm rather busy. What are you so busy with? She snaps her book shut. I'm studying soul attachment. We all know that souls move into people at birth and out of them at death, but we still have a lot of questions about what makes them stick, so to speak. What do you mean about making them stick? She brushes a stray lock from her forehead. Souls power bodies and give their tissues life, but only when they're firmly attached. It's separation that leads to a whole spate of soul-related ailments, including the Hollowborn. But if we understood how to reattach souls, we could end Wayward's legacy, maybe even conquer death. That's some dangerous thinking. She scratches behind her ear. That's the theory anyway. Unfortunately, I don't have all the research I need to put it into practice. What exactly do you need? There's a manuscript called the Theorem of Pangram. It contains research from Pangram's experiments on detached souls. The Hall of Revealed Mysteries is rumoured to have a copy in the Elder Archives. Well, as luck would have it! Pangram's work is considered to be one of the more, daring animancy texts. Not something generally circulated among novices. Not easy to get hold of. I wonder if we might have a peek at it. The theories could advance my research by leaps and bounds. But Grimda, the High Archivist, worships Whale, which means she has some paradoxical views on sharing and restricting knowledge, and since she's not exactly a proponent of animancy, she tends to restrict the kinds of information that would be useful to me. Maybe she could be persuaded. You're welcome to try, but you wouldn't be the first. Look at me spilling my troubles. It's kind of you to listen, but I should really get back to my work. Anything else? She looks eager to return to her studies. Do I want to hand this thing to you? What will you do if I give this tome to you? Can you be trusted with it? I don't know. I don't know. I'll give it to her. You'll never believe what I found. You, Lady of Lament, you really found it! Idier cradles the musty tome like a newborn. I can't believe it! It really exists! She looks back to you. Thank you so much. This will be invaluable. She almost turns to the book, but at the last moment, she remembers herself and gives you a bag of coins. That's not bad. I was glad to help. Anything else? She looks eager to return to her studies. I have some questions about the theorems of Pangram, such as, tell me about them. Pangram was an animancer working in Idier. He had some interesting theories about essence and some rather innovative techniques for studying it. He was able to reattach souls to bodies after death, although he wasn't able to prevent his patients from degenerating. He was controversial to say the least, but many are starting to realize that he was merely ahead of his time. What do you mean by degenerating? Nedin twists her hands together. Well, there seems to be a tiny problem with reattaching souls after death. The bodies will reanimate and may even retain memories and personality, but they develop a hunger for flesh. Living, soul-infused flesh. Without it, they start to devolve, decaying mentally and physically. If the process goes too far, which it eventually does, they become mindless corpses, attacking anything that moves. We haven't figured out how to avoid that. That might be what's happened in Heritage Hill. Also, that kind of sounds like ghouls and darghouls and vampires. And you wonder why Grimda won't share this research with you. Sounds like necromancy. maybe regretting giving her this book. Nonsense! Necromancy is magic. This is science! There is a science to magic, though. Why didn't Grimda want to lend you the book? The Hall of Revealed Mysteries is rather protective of its books, especially the rarer ones. Grimda in particular. She hates animancy. Thinks it's dangerous. I don't see how you can run the greatest library in Mediewood and be so adverse to the spread of knowledge and research, but I've never understood those religious types. Alot scowls at the animancer. Some knowledge is best kept under lock and key. Hopefully you use the knowledge that we just gave you carefully. I just handed it to you. What you do now is all on you. That's all I wanted to ask. We know about these. Anything else? Well, tell me about yourself. I'm an animancer at the Sanitarium. Currently I'm researching matters related to Waidwin's legacy. Well, what is Waidwin's legacy? I've heard it from many other people. Waidwin's legacy refers to the rise in hollowborn children in Mediewood in recent years. Some have also connected it to so-called beerwicks that blow through Glanfath. There's hardly any reliable data on those, though, so I can't really comment. She sniffs. I don't much care for the term Waidwin's legacy. It reeks of superstition, but it's too prevalent to change at this point. Personally, I'd like to see people take a more methodical approach to these matters, rather than throwing up their hands and blaming the gods. I don't think dear Woodens would see too much fun in that. I'll leave you alone. Farewell.
I'm here.
Maybe I shouldn't have given you that, but I did. And now we're going to pop into the Sanitarium and go find this person that we were told to speak to. Okay, we weren't told to speak to them. We were told to go and... Oh, taxes collected. That's a decent amount of taxes. But we were told to go and open a chest by them. That's not who I'm looking for. There's some nobles. There's a backer character. The table is set with an assortment of leaflets and booklets with titles like Practical Benefits of Animancy and Soul Adjustment for the Well-Adjusted Soul. They sound pretty well adjusted, if I say so myself. The Most Unfortunate Tale of Favia and Bernard. Oh, we're not going to be reading that. What we're going to be doing... Warden, an animancer from the Republics, Barncello, has requested a visit. Extend a formal invitation. See to it that the necessary preparations are made. Of course. Okay, we're looking for a particular person. This man's soul was torn asunder by a beerwick. As you can see, the patient is unresponsive. Common after soul trauma. The animancer places a small stone upon the patient's forehead. A portion of his soul was recovered near his body. We use this stone as a vessel for transfer. Can you hear me, Oswin? The patient's eyes slowly open before a panicked, wild expression washes over him. Unfortunately, the extended dissociation has permanent side effects. The patient becomes more agitated, grunting and moaning as he tugs at his bonds. With further research, we're confident we'll be able to rehabilitate patients like Oswin. Oh, Oswin, I don't think you're ever going to be getting better. I think this was a demonstration.
I'm here.
Let's have a chat with you, Ad.
Hail, traveler.
A bald man with a crooked nose gestures in demonstration over the still body of a patient before a small gathering of interested onlookers. Feeling your gaze, he pauses the discussion. Have you come to sit in? I'd like to know more about the Sanitarium. He gives an eager nod. It's the mission that attracted me here. The treatment of the disturbed. No one else seems to care about them. Here, they've worked wonders for them. I've seen people cured of insatiable hungers and uncontrollable urges. I've seen the crippled walk and the dysphoric smile, all within these walls. The thought that the Duke could put an end to it with a single order, it keeps me up nights.
Well met, friend.
What is it you do here specifically? Close as we are to the Glanfathern wilds, we get a number of beerwick maimings every year, survivors dealing with complications from exposure. This fellow here is a severe case. His essence is a mere whisper of what it was. I am early in my research, only beginning to understand how they work, but in time I hope to find a way to protect people from the storm's effects. A noble goal, to be sure. Let's hope you can figure out a way to do it without doing awful things. The table is set with an assortment of leaflets and booklets with titles like Practical Benefits of Animancy and things we've seen before. Come along, pig! Let's end here. There is nothing in here of any particular interest. These look like field sketches of Anguithan ruins and artifacts. We have you and an animancer, animancer. Not surprisingly, there are a lot of animancers here. And there's this. This painting of a rolling forest glen has a strangely soothing effect. We should save. I haven't saved yet. Perhaps I shouldn't save, considering that I handed that book to that woman. But I'm sure she'll be fine. She won't use that knowledge for ill and end up doing something awful to herself. She might. She might. Right, down here is the sanitarium itself. Let's look around. We have rooms. They are easy to open. Let's go in. There's Bella's egg. And there's this. The strange device seems to thrum with power.
I'm here.
Hello.
Hello.
A woman paces back and forth, her feet crunching on the soft red carpet. She gestures and mumbles to herself, shaking her head as she pores over pages of notes. She almost walks into you. Gossi, here I am, looking so hard for answers in my research that I did not see the kid standing in front of me. What can I do? What do you do here? According to my research grant, I study awakenings. Sublimating pre-awakened souls has been one of Animancy's greatest successes, and I'm working on a method to replicate the process on awakened souls. She gnaws at her lip. But the truth is that I find few suitable subjects here. Waidwen's legacy has left plenty of awakened souls, but most are too broken for study. I fear I will return to Revua with nothing to show for my efforts. I'm awakened. I've been recalling flashes of a past life. She scratches her chin. Most interesting, but not the kind of awakening I can study, I'm afraid. I need someone whose awakened soul can be triggered with predictable stimuli. Souls such as these tend to manifest as alternate personas in the host. She gives you a broad, if strained smile. But I thank you for the offer. Had the previous ruler of Caed Nua still been alive, I could have suggested looking at him. Something else you need? I'd like to know more about animancy in the Valian Republics. It's a dynamic and respected field. Even the Bell Reach incident did little to slow it. She shrugs. People in the Republics are more accepting of risk, less superstitious, ready to try anything that shows promise. But animancy also has the potential to do great harm. I'm still not entirely sure whether the benefits outweigh the dangers. This is true of any great technology. You cut a man open to remove sick flesh, and there's a chance you kill him. Build a boat to explore new land, or perhaps it sinks with you on board. But surely these things make us better off, even though we sometimes fail. Goodbye.
Yes?
There are some valid points there. But you always have to be mindful of the risks. Ah! It's you. Let's have a quick chat, shall we, sir? And not open the chest right away.
You're quite friendly, aren't you?
Hello. An animancer scribbles feverishly on a parchment scroll while his free hand dances through the air, counting off unseen objects. His lips move in silent discourse. As your shadow falls over his scroll, he looks up at you with mingled perplexity and irritation.
Hail and well met.
Can I help you? He forces a polite smile. Does the name Helig mean anything to you? Moedred starts. Helig? He is a colleague of mine. He was primarily a necromancer, but he was involved in animancy too. He worked at the Sanitarium for several years. I dare say everyone here has heard of him. He clears his throat. He left his post recently. I believe he was seeking new opportunities in the Valian Republics. He leans forward. The advances they're making in animancy really are quite remarkable. Surely you've heard. He coughs again. Perhaps you haven't. I heard it differently. He slides his spectacles down his nose. Just what are you insinuating? If this is your idea of a joke, I assure you, It's in very poor taste. So you didn't sink a blade into his chest and dump him in the catacombs. He'll be relieved to hear it. Moedred pales. How could... He sighs and runs a hand over his hair. Very well. Yes, I killed him. I killed that beast because nobody else had the spine for it. He was a madman. Years of perverse experiments, twisting healthy souls, torturing damaged souls. And for what? He flayed the essence from Glanfath and indignants for his amusement. He waves down the hall. If the public had known half of his deeds, they'd have razed this place to the ground. He jabs his finger on the desk. He used the Sanitarium to disguise his own sick proclivities. He brought shame on all of us, and put the entire discipline at risk. I regret nothing. He calms down and sizes you up. Anyway, now you know the whole grisly story. Helig said you stole a grimoire from him. Moedred's brow furrows. His grimoire? What's that madman been telling you? Oh. Now the truth's come out. He said you kept it in that trunk over there. Moedred takes the key with a trembling hand, his eyes darting to the trunk behind you. You've been misled. There's no grimoire here, and Helig never intended you to find one. That wretched thing has an insatiable hunger for blood. He shudders. Thank you for denying him. I hope I can convince you now to return and slay him once and for all. I'll finish him. Moedred nods relieved. Good. I'm glad someone finally will. I must return to my work. I wish you well. Yeah, killing Helig was
I'm here.
not legal, in the least. But there's not a lot I could do about that right now. What I can do is prevent Helig from killing you. Even though it's somewhat deserved. If even what half you said is true, yeah, Helig could do so much more harm if I keep him alive. Let's just hope I can somehow get Rowena back to that man, even if I slay Helig. That will be something I will do next time, folks. For when we come back, we will continue to explore the Sanitarium. There's a lot to see here. And then we will go and try and prevent that robbery. Probably a good idea to prevent that robbery. Then we'll have to head back to Copper Lane and deal with Helig. And also go find the person for Dunstan. Like a lot of the districts are in loops so that you can go from one to the other quite easily. But fast travel lets you go to any of them whenever you want. Also, I should stop that from flashing. You're being escorted. I'm not releasing you. Seems good. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if not. If you are subscribed, press that bell for those notifications as when we come back. More of the Sanitarium, and then more of Brackenbury. And I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later.